I want to tell you about three religious worship applications that I've had the results come in on recently. One in Havering, one in Redbridge, and one in Stockton. So let me go here. That is the one in Havering. That's number 34. Let me just go a little bit along the road. Hold on. That is number 34, the Broadway in Hornchurch. That's where it was going to be. So if I scroll around a bit, you can see what it would have been like. Imagine a mosque there. Imagine doing your shopping there on a Friday afternoon if that mosque had gone ahead. Just look at that. Okay, so that got refused, and I'm happy about that. We managed to get that one turned down. Let me just go to the council's webpage so you can see a bit more about it. That's Havering, the Havering Council's planning webpage. Proposal: extension to mezzanine floor and internal alterations to create a multi-purpose hall, we know what that is, and addition of use class F2B and ancillary F1F, that's religious worship use, adding that to existing F1A use. F1A is education. This is the way I've often noticed a pattern. First of all, you go for the children's education. It's all about the kids. No one can object to that. And then you get the religious use, F1F, after F1A. Okay. And that's the building there. So if you can see that, there would have been a lot of use, I think, a lot of use on that busy road. And the proposal, this is the refusal reason, that's the refusal notice from the council. The proposal would, given its relationship to neighbouring properties, give rise to an intensification of uses on the site, and combined with the proposed hours of use result in an unsatisfactory relationship by way of noise and disturbance. It's caused by high levels of activity, pedestrian and vehicle movement. So basically they're saying there's too much on this busy site, too much on a cramped site with all the shopping use around, and they refused it. Good for you, Havering Council. You did the right thing. Now the next one is in Redbridge. So let me go there. That's Redbridge Council webpage, and that was at basically it's 627B High Road, Seven Kings in Ilford, only a few miles away from the Havering one. They are getting more and more concentrated. The mosques are coming in thicker and faster. Okay, and this one, we lost this one. It got granted planning permission. I think that's a bad idea. If I just show you the site plan, so you can, well, let me go to Google Earth and you'll see a picture of where it was. If you see that building there, at around there, that is what they're going to turn into a mosque. And if I zoom out, what you'll see is there's the main road, and down there, if I can just zoom in, just put the little man down in there, you'll see that's a little, it doesn't light up blue, that's a little back alleyway up to get to that mosque. That's what we try to argue. Imagine that, all the cars going to that mosque, all the parking, all the comings and goings. That is going to be, I think that is going to be unsafe. So let me just go exit street view. So going all the way down that lane to get to that building. That's I don't think that should have been allowed, but the council did allow it. Now let me just go back to the there we are. Now that site plan there, that is going to be a pretty big mosque, but the council granted planning permission. I think I'll give you my reasons in a minute as to why we lost that one. That's after I tell you why we lost the next one. And the next one is in Stockton, and this one in Stockton, I don't need to go to the council's webpage. I'll just show you. I'll show you this news report. This was for a call to prayer. Stockton's mosques plan to hold weekly outdoor call to prayer over loudspeaker in first area. What I think this was about was that they previously had planning permission for a mosque, and I think that there was a condition saying that if you want to do the call to prayer, you've got to get council permission from the council first. You've got to go and ask their permission each time you want to do it. You've got to show them that no one's going to be disturbed. So they did it during lockdown, and it was great for everyone. And now they're saying we want it permanently, and they got it. So if I just give you the a Stockton mosque has lodged or had lodged plans to hold a weekly call to prayer outdoors in a first for the area. Farooq-e-Azam Mosque on Bowesfield Lane became the first mosque in the northeast to recite azan or call to prayer in the open air from its rooftop during lockdown. Okay, committee members say the moving moment brought a smile when people were prevented from being together during the height of the COVID restrictions. Now they want to make it a regular event. And it goes on and on and on. And if I go to, it was a good time for people. It brought a smile. If the council accepts our application, you'll be able to hear azan outside. Lucky you. And there you are. That's a picture of them outside listening to azan. First time in history of the northeast of England, the azan was read in open air. Farooq-e-Azam Masjid. Isn't that great? First time in the history of the northeast. Okay, well, I wonder if that's correct given what they say later. Hold on. It's good for the community. Well, it's good for you, not for the community. It makes them happy. Well, what about other people's happiness, eh? In the Muslim community, they can hear the call to prayer, and it's a nice feeling. People come outside and listen for it, etc., etc. And open air call to prayer happens around the UK in areas including Bradford and London. It happens in Waterloo Road in Middlesbrough, well that's the northeast, every Friday. But it's not very loud, it reaches just a couple of streets. Yes, well, now that is the mosque. Boys and girls, can you guess where do you think it's going to come from? I wonder which part of that building the call to prayer is going to be blasted out from, made using amplification equipment. Where do you think it's going to come from? I wonder. Right. I think it is safe to doubt that it will only reach a couple of streets. So we won one and lost two, which isn't good enough. On the first one we won, the second, the other two, numbers 2 and 3, my best was not good enough. It increasingly isn't, or it isn't good enough to win. Not on those occasions. I'm ashamed of that. I'm embarrassed about that. But at least we did not give them a free run at it. You should not think that losing the case means we don't win. We win even if we lose. We show that there is some resistance. We show that we will rise up to meet them. We did it on these occasions. I think we caused them to have to take us seriously, and they'll have to do it again in future, and I'll do it again. The question is, why are councils getting more confident or more prone to granting planning permissions for these mosque applications? Well, I think the first reason is they've seen that they can get away with it. They've witnessed that there isn't a lot of action, there isn't a lot of activity. I'll go through that in a moment, why I think that's happening. Why people are not getting up about it. People are not willing to do very much about it. This is not meant to make you feel guilty. The people who are watching this, you are doing more than your fair share just by watching it, given how few people watch my output and how few people contribute to financially to what I do. I'm very grateful. That is heroic, given how few people do it. That is a real advance marker on society. I'm very much in favour of that. I'm not bitter that people don't want to give more money and fund what I do adequately. It's about, I'd say, between 5 and 10% of what where the funding should be to be able to enable me to do the campaigns properly, or as I would like to. I guess what that just means is 5 or 10% of just much less work that I have to do, because there's much less work that I can do. The thing is, it's just the situation we're in at the moment. That people are not standing up. People are grumbling. People are hoping that someone else, i.e. those in authority, the politicians, will put it right. They won't. That dream will fade. But the councils seem to be, I think they are responding to that by saying, we can get away with this. We can grant planning permission for these places, and there'll be no comeback. And people won't get up in arms about it. So let's just do it and keep the Muslims happy. The second reason is that the planning system, I think, is showing signs of beginning to fall apart. I mean, simply not able to deal with planning applications. There are plenty of councils around the world, around the country, who just are not not opening up planning applications that they've received, taking them months or years to decide. I'm getting people telephoning me saying, can you sue the council because the delay has been so long? My reply is the system is probably breaking down. Get your permission and run off. Don't try and reform the system. You can't. But in a crumbling system, it's that much. The temptation is much greater for officers and the people who run the system simply to bat away to get these mosque applications off their desk by granting permission for them, and I think that is happening. And the third reason, as I've said, is the spirit of the times we're living in at the moment. People are not prepared to do anything. People are happy to grumble, and people see this issue not so much as a cause for action. They see it as an issue, grounds for entertainment. That's what people are looking for. People are not really willing to do very much, certainly not to part with money for it, because it's not fashionable, it's outside the herd, it's not within the mainstream. People will bang the donate button all day long for this kind of nonsense. Let me just play you this.
Out in the fucking fight, you know? Yeah. So why are you sitting in front of me? Fucking do something. What do you want to do, you fucking little prick? What are you going to get fucking me? Get the fuck up. What are you going to do? What are you going to fucking do? What are you going to fucking do, you little fucking fuck? What are you going to fucking do? Get him back. Get him back. Get him back.
People will happily bang the donate button all day for that and think they're at the cutting edge of action. And I think the reason is we still have a kind of semi-religious faith in this all-protecting cradle-to-grave system that we like to think can, should and will protect us from any kind of adult problem. It infantilizes us, and infantilized people don't take up action themselves. And let me show you this story about, I'll just play you this clip. This is a man in hospital. He's broadcast on Sky News. We were promised cradle to grave, says patient reflecting on NHS virtual wards plan. And he's apparently waiting for a hip operation and a confirmation of whether he has Parkinson's disease. So let me just play this little bit for you.
I expect that the NHS to arrive true to its principles.
Okay, I expect people to have faith. Okay, I expect people to have faith in the NHS. That is a sad, very unwell man putting his faith in a man-made idol. It's a story as old as the hills. You do that, you are going to be bitterly disappointed. And the longer you keep your faith in some kind of fake idol, the bitterer your disappointment will be. And I think in this case, the bitterness of that disappointment will be the amount of bending over that altar of the NHS we do simply in hopes of appeasing the people who run it to try and just because we want it to continue, getting told what to do by those in power to save the NHS. And when the NHS falls over, I think we will find it's not been worth it. But until that happens, we're just going to go along with all of this. We're going to go along with the invasion that we're getting, and we will go along with mosque applications. And I think that underlies why I lost 2 out of the 3 that I'm reporting on here. I'm sorry my best wasn't good enough in those 2.